on. You start? All right, all right, all right. This is Begin to Talk Radio, starting live. All right, all right, all right, folks. This is Begin to Talk Radio. Thank you for tuning in to Begin to Talk Radio. I'm your host today, Elisha Durrett Johnson. Today we're going to talk about a couple of different things, right? We're going to hit it heavy today and talk about a couple of different things, from human sex trafficking to human trafficking. We're going to talk about black bodies in space and place. We're going to have a special guest on in a little bit to talk clinically with us. We're going to have a robust and very good conversation today. So, today's show, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our sponsors first. Our sponsors, let's give a shout out to Dope Designs by Nanny. Dope Designs by Nanny. You can check out Dope Designs by Nanny, specializing in all of your custom needs. Currently, they are having a flash sale for coming up, or actually they're having a flash sale right now, offering 50% off of the entire site with the code 24FLASH. 24FLASH. You can head on over to www.dopedesignsbynanny.com. Again, that's www.dopedesignsbynanny.com. Alrighty. We also have another sponsor at Blood Moon Jewelry. You can find her for all your herbal energetic needs. She also is a teologist and sells teas as well. You can find her at bloodmoonjewelry.com. You can also find her at Blood Moon Jewelry on Instagram and Facebook as well. And last but not least, today's show is brought to you by Begin to Talk LLC. We are here for your mental health counseling, your personal life coaching, and business consulting needs. If you all need to talk to for anything from preventative mental health services to chronic care and the sickest of the sick types of population, we can handle them all. So head on over to begintotalk.com. You can also find us at Begin to Talk LLC on Facebook, and you can find us at Begin to Talk on Instagram and Twitter. So thank you for that today. We have in the studio with us Amber Ritchie. She's going to be helping me out and chiming in during this conversation. And then in a little bit, we're going to have special guest Dr. Darlene M. Davis to come on, and she's going to have a robust conversation with us. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, I wanted to go ahead and do a current event, right? I saw a couple of different things on Facebook, right? So a couple of different things on Facebook this week came up, and one of them was an article that was surfacing around about Harriet Tubman, right? And Harriet Tubman, the movie Harriet Tubman that just came out, one of the a past, I guess, screenwriter had said that they wanted Julia Roberts to play Harriet Tubman. You see how you laughing at that? It doesn't even make any sense, right? No, not at all. They wanted Julia Roberts to play Harriet Tubman. Now, I know for a fact, especially for all of the folks that are joining online, I have to say thank you for those folks that are joining online on our Facebook Live, because we're going to take any of your comments, questions, and concerns. We're going to go ahead and address those. So go ahead and put everything that you're thinking about in that Facebook Live, in those comments. We'll address them on the show. So the very first thing coming up. Okay, so Julia Roberts is supposed to play Harriet Tubman. I don't know what's up with that. What's your thoughts when you just started laughing?
Yeah, that's really funny.
Right. It's like, why? I don't understand. I don't even understand. But it really does give, and even though this article was kind of not necessarily debunked, but it resurfaced after the movie, right? So the movie came out not too long ago. Shout out to the movie Harriet Tubman. All y'all need to go see that. I have seen all the previews and haven't had the time to go see it, but I'm definitely going to go see it. And of course, everybody knows about Harriet Tubman. And the news about her being on the $20 bill and how during Obama era, you know, she was supposed to make it happen. We're in the Trump era, and they're definitely not trying to do it. So, you know, whatever about politics, you think about whatever, but however, it's still, you know, she ain't on the $20 bill. I'm just saying. So, you know, there's different things on even just recognizing not just her and her work and her efforts, but black bodies and black spaces, right? Mm-hmm. And how you can literally have, even we have a plethora of African American actors, and I'm glad they picked one to actually play Harriet Tubman, right? Please. Right. Because you were literally thinking, even back in 1994, that it was okay for blackface, for you to get Julia Roberts, and I'm so glad that she did not, because I just love Runaway Bride and Pretty Woman and all them extra. You know what I'm saying? I love all those movies, and I would have had to just go ahead and hang her up. Yeah, she would have been hung up, right? Yeah, no, I'm good. Right. So it just leads to a different conversation on black bodies and respecting that type of thing, or even just with ethnicities anyway, space and place, right? So you even have some folks that you'll see in the movies, or even in the movies back in the day, where they would have Indians played by white people in blackface, right? Mm-hmm. Or different ethnicities, right, in blackface, whatever, in blackface, ... They was all in blackface at some point, right? Trying to portray and play. Even in all the way back to even the Bible movies. I even see them and how they were dressed darker, or try to have, you know, try to have white women be portrayed as Cleopatra, or you know, any type of Egyptian, which Egypt is in Africa. Right. For all those people that don't understand your geography, Egypt is in Africa, very much so. However, they would have, you know, these people like just sit in and pose as if there weren't any black actors out there to, or Indian, or insert whatever ethnicity to play these roles. So I just thought that was very interesting and kind of a current event I wanted to bring up. Even though I know the story, I read a little through the story that said it was debunked, it's still a good conversation, and we can wrap that into the conversation we have with Dr. Davis here in a little bit. So yeah, that's that part. But yeah, that tripped me out when I read that. I said, hold on, this got to be a lie. Let me read this story. You know, Facebook just has a lot of things on there. You got to read through. Okay, so, all right. So that's with Harriet Tubman. I really wanted to go into our topic, right? I have had several people, and thank you to everybody who has sent me on Instagram, Facebook, and Messenger. All send me a lot of videos on awareness of human sex trafficking, and these videos were from different places across the country. So this is something that is very rampant, that is happening, and it's been happening, but it seems like it's happening more and more, and the less attention that we're giving to populations that are going through this, which are 99% women, the less attention we're giving is to this in the media, the more attention I'm seeing social media kind of pick it up. And social media is starting to be that forefront to give voice to some of the voiceless, or the things that are not making the news. Like right now, everybody's thinking about impeachment hearings and Trump and everything else. And okay, yeah, it's good to keep up on current events and world news. However, what's going on in our back door? What's going on right next to us, so we can protect our young girls, right, and our families. I have 4 girls, right, from 14 to 3-year-old twins, and I feel it as an avid responsibility, not just as a parent, but as a mental health counselor who has counseled this population, right? This very vulnerable population in the past, of folks that have gone through or have been through human sex trafficking, prostitution, all of the above, that it's still human sex trafficking, just by another name. So we'll talk about that a little more here just in a second. Thank you for everybody that's joining online. I'm just putting a quick note here for you all. Thanks for joining. And if you all are just now tuning in, thank you. You can also put any of your comments, questions, or concerns on Facebook Live, and we'll make sure to attend to those as well. So I came across this quote that I use all the time. All the time. And it says, the eyes don't see what the mind doesn't know, right? And when I read that, I was actually preparing for a conference. In April, I went to a human sex trafficking conference. And so I went there, and it was very informative, very eye-opening. And I had opened for one of the presenters there, and I was speaking to the crowd. And the very first thing that I said was, the eyes don't see what the mind doesn't know, right? A lot of times we think we understand and have a grasp on reality and situations, and we think, oh, prostitution is just a choice, right? Or human sex trafficking, they should have known better. They should have done X, Y, and Z. We blame the victim instead of going after the actual issue itself, right? So a lot of times we do that, even as human beings. Well, she shouldn't have did this, or she should have known better, or she shouldn't have worn something that was so tight, or she should not. That person has every right and privilege to wear what the heck they want to wear, talk how the heck they want to talk, walk how the heck they want to walk, and not have their space interrupted, right? So that's just something that I always brought up, was the eyes don't see what the mind doesn't know. And honestly, after dealing with that population, and after counseling this particular population as well, I remember driving with my husband at the time. My husband had came to pick me up at one of our counseling sites after dealing and counseling with this population. And my husband came to pick me up. We were driving on our way to U of L. So we were on 3rd Street. And we were driving towards, we were on 4th Street. And we were driving towards U of L, to go to class. And so while we were driving, it was literally a man. Now, literally, peep game. I have seen this type of situation before and didn't realize that's what it was, right? But anyway, so I seen this type of situation before, I didn't realize what it was. So we're driving down, and I look to my right. Now, this is all while we are at a stoplight, mind you. The light's red, then the light turns green, the scene changes. So the light's red, I'm looking out to my right-hand side, and I see a white woman, and she's standing there with her head down, dressed regular clothes. It was kind of cool outside, so she was dressed regular clothes. Behind her was a black man. He was really, really tall, bald head, and he was talking to a man that was about a half a block down, right? And the man half a block down was talking to him with his arms open like this, like, hey, that kind of thing. And I heard numbers only. I didn't hear any kind of talk, any kind of, hey, how you doing? Just numbers. That's it. And then all of a sudden, I see the guy that's standing behind this woman take her, almost like a puppet, take her head. She's just like this. She's looking down and grab by the back of her head, and not yank, gently pull. And he pulls her head up. And she looks up, and then immediately she stops frowning. She starts smiling, getting herself together, and this man is walking towards her. Now, immediately, at that time, this is all within a 30-second time frame, right? Now, immediately the light turns green. My husband takes off. I'm yelling, oh my God, we got to call the police. We got to do this. We got to do that. Did you just see that? And Jawan looked at me and said, baby, do you understand how many times we passed that? We've been coming downtown for years. We've been coming back and forth, and he's from downtown, right? Right. And I'm, shout out to Oldham County. I'm from, Pee Wee Valley, and in that area, yeah, you still have different things that happen. Not saying the crime's not rampant everywhere. However, this particular narrative was something that I would see downtown, right? I would see in the city,
Right.
more so. So he was like, baby, we pass this all the time. It's just that because your mind is now vigilant, you're now more hyper aware of the situation, that you can now point it out. So that's why I always go back to that quote. The eyes don't see what the mind doesn't know, because it's very, very true. So I started to look up some statistics, right, on trafficking and what that really is. And just to give some statistics to you all, I found about 13 statistics. We probably won't talk about all of them. But I found some statistics that I felt like would bring a little more illustration to this type of story. The first one is that there are over 4 million victims of sex trafficking globally, right? So it used to be that drugs, that illegal drugs were one of the big capitals, right? Were one of the big money makers in America, and it still is, but it's number 2 now. Human sex trafficking is number 1. So when we thought, human, and I think under that is the sale of, illegal sale of firearms or whatever. So human sex trafficking has literally boomed to the point to where it is over. It's the number 1 illegal,
Wow.
right, like across the board. So 99% of victims are women and girls. So they are no longer just taking young girls or young women or women across the board. They're snatching kids, like straight across the board. Because now it's 2 different things. There's sex trafficking, and then there's organ trafficking. And what they can't get from one, they will use in another. They are 2 different demands, but they're using the same supply, basically. So 99% of these women are girls, or 99% of the victims, are women or girls. The third one is that there's no official estimate of sex trafficking victims in the United States. So one of the videos, and thank you for everybody who sent me these videos, one of the videos was an actual police officer. And the police officer was talking about, was giving like a warning to everybody. And when he was giving the warning, he was very explicit in saying that the police do not know what to do about this situation. Because once somebody has you, they have you. He said, you might as well be on the moon, baby. We don't know how to find you. So how this is really working, right? How this is really working as far as how this is really working is that, there's no official estimate. So these folks, you don't even know how many folks, and we said 4 million, and those are the victims that were known about, right? We're not talking about the victims that are unknown. These are known cases. So another thing, I remember I used to go down to New Orleans about 2-3 times a year. And I still crave and miss that place, Lord Jesus. I need to get back. Somebody take me. Somebody come and escape. And let's go to New Orleans right now. But anyway, New Orleans, man, real talk.
Yeah.
Let's hop. Okay, so New Orleans is, it's a very good place to go to, and it's extremely fun, but it's really dangerous. And there was a lot of the Russian mafia down that way. And I remember when I was down that way visiting, it was a story, and this was just a couple of years ago, right? And this is when folks really weren't talking about human sex trafficking. But it was a lady, it was an actual teacher, and she was coming, she was hanging out with some teachers after a conference at a bar, and she just had to cut through, all she had to do, see one second.
She had to cut through the what?
Yeah, I'm just turning up our mics just a little bit so folks can hear. It's not too much of a feedback. All right. What I was saying was that all this lady had to do was cut through this park, right? And she had to cut through the park to get through her house. You see on the cameras, you see her cutting through the park, and you see her driving in the park, and then you never see her car come out, right? So she's literally, they found the car door open. And this is another thing that my husband says all the time: lock your doors. If you do not have an automatic lock to your doors, or if you open your door and you have that kind of car where you have to lock your doors. They literally opened her door, right, as she's and snatched her right through the park, and no one ever saw her. Yeah, no one ever saw her again. So this is just to bring awareness, and we will talk more about what to do, how to do those types of things. But I really wanted to bring awareness because I know for a fact if my listeners are bringing me these types of stories, 5 and 6 different videos at a time, that it is something that is rampant and that we need to talk about. So, another, okay, thank you. Another, another fact about human sex trafficking: girls in foster care are particularly vulnerable. So women are vulnerable populations anyway, right? So women are vulnerable populations anyway. However, even more vulnerable populations, adoption, foster care, the folks that we don't even pay attention to anymore, right? When they cry wolf and it's a real cry, we don't even pay attention to these folks anymore. So the most vulnerable populations are more susceptible, even throughout women. Profits from forced sexual labor are estimated about $99 billion worldwide. So that goes back to human sex trafficking just being number one as per capita as far as illegal crimes in the United States. Profits are highest per sex trafficking victim in developed countries like the United States, right? So profits from illicit massage parlors are estimated $2.5 billion. So a lot of times we'll have that quote unquote stigma massage parlor type of deal thing happening, but in essence, human sex trafficking is not necessarily what you think. Going back to that quote, the eyes don't see what the mind doesn't know, right?
Right.
So let's just talk about how they are abducting these women. So a lot of times the human traffickers are doing a lot of different things, and how to be vigilant during this holiday season. So they literally, I had one of the videos from Egypt, and she's the one on HGTV that sells the homes. She had put out one of those videos as well, and I had about 4 to 5 different people send me that one video alone, right? So with Egypt, she was talking about how, let me see your hand real quick. She was talking about how the women, they're using older women to lure now. So when you're shopping, watch out for shoppers like outside of the store, or folks that are eliciting products in the store that they probably shouldn't be anyway. So the lady had came up with some massage oil and was rubbing one of the victim's hands. And they were rubbing this oil in the hand and trying to get her to purchase it. Well, she didn't purchase it. However, there was a van that was sitting in the back of the parking lot waiting for that woman to pass out, because in that oil was a drug to make her pass out. That's what it was an oil in a drug in the oil that would make her pass out. So that was one thing, one way that they were getting. Another way is watch where you park and who is around you. That is very, very important, especially in large parking lots. First of all, do not go shopping by yourself. I don't care if you have to go pick up something. People are watching you, and they are watching your every move. From the time you get into the car, to the time you park, to the time you go into the store and back out. You will be surprised who is watching you. So be very vigilant on those. You know, I always call it to catch a predator van. You know what I'm talking about? Those big white vans. It's like a to catch a predator van. I always say that. Are you able to hear us? Okay. All right. Just making sure we're over here. Yeah, it's on. You just have to push it up. This mic up. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
I can hear myself.
That's fine. It might be your headset. No, I can hear you just fine. Okay. So anyway, so going back, so how we're getting to these women. So the oils on the hands, that's one way. Watch where you park and who's parked beside you. You have those big vans that park beside you. A lot of times they're not in one vehicle anymore. They're going in parties. So you have a couple of different vehicles that were surrounding. Another video I watched was this man, and it doesn't matter about his ethnicities. They snatching everybody. White, black, it doesn't matter who you are. They snatching everybody these days. So it was another video of a man who was talking about his wife, and his wife was so shooken up that she couldn't make the video, so he made it for her. But they were in a Target parking lot, and how she recognized the man when she was walking in, but she didn't really say anything. She just walked in, went ahead and went shopping, was coming out, and there were some other women who were more vigilant than she was. The lady was with her daughter. There was some outside women, right? That were more vigilant than the woman was with her daughter, and they purposefully parked next to that woman because they saw a van and then another van circle around and park next to her. So that woman almost got snatched, but because the other two folks that were more vigilant than the woman came up and parked next to her, they were able to pretty much intervene, right?
That's scary.
Right. I mean, and this is a man. He's saying this is a Target parking lot, right? So a lot of times people are looking, okay, well, this is a scene out of a movie per se type of parking lot, or it's a very dark area. This is happening during the day and during the night. So if you are going to go shopping, let's go in the daytime. Let's make sure that you take more than one person with you. 3 or more is better because they can easily take a pair and split them. So have you ever seen that movie Taken?
Yes.
With Liam, I think it's Liam Nelson, something like that. I don't know.
Where his daughter was taken.
Right, overseas.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Europe or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so they make those movies about something, right?
Right.
The phenomenon just doesn't come out of the air. And I know that as far as a theatrical play like that Taken, it was actually based off of some stories that some real life stories, even though it was just a movie. But those types of things actually happen. So be vigilant, be aware. It is okay. It is okay to go shopping with multiple people. Please have everybody in your business. It is just fine. This holiday season is not the time to do everything by yourself. It's just not. We used to just have to deal with identity theft and folks, getting those chips on their cards now and stuff like that. And that still happens. But now they ain't work. They just taking everybody, person off.
Right.
So yes, so this is just something, a phenomenon that I really want to make sure that is discussed, and that we're talking about what to do this holiday season. So be aware, go in numbers. If your children are trying to go shopping for you, fine, they can go shopping for you, but you need to be aware, right? You really do need to be aware and understand that they have to go. I would say 4 or more. Honestly, 5 is a really good number. If it was a group of 5, I feel way more safe with that, because with 4, you can still split them up in pairs and then split them again. Because these are multiple vans at one time, and not just one van snatching folks. It's literally multiple predators luring in. So I know that this is, like I said, this is all women across the board. 99% are all women. So it doesn't really matter about the ethnicity because they are taking everyone, right? However, a lot of the stories that I'm hearing are more so from general populations, as far as white women and other types of white women, but we're not really honing in on black women as well. And I feel like that's because we are identified as a vulnerable population, just like the girls in foster care are identified as a vulnerable populations. And the reason why we're identified as those vulnerable populations, not just because folks prey on us, but because no one talks about it. Stuff happens in the news. I can hear about human sex trafficking. I hear about most of those videos that were even sent were bringing hyper awareness to the issue, but it was only for one type of population, right? So I wanted to make sure that across the board that we are understanding that, you know, all women, but specifically with black women, are really being snatched.
And black children.
And black children, yeah.
Taking out organs and stuff.
Right. So, and organs, and the black market for organs is rampant. It's always been there. But taking these organs from children, even for other children that need surgeries, for adults that need surgeries, those types of things, that market is for real. Mm-hmm. There was a case in Atlanta where it was a white man. He got indicted for over 600 and some odd counts of abduction.
That was recently.
Yeah, that was very recent.
Yeah.
That was very recent. It was over 600 and some odd accounts of human sex trafficking, and every last one of them were black women. Every last one of them. And the only reason that I believe, I'm speculating, but I believe that the only reason Liam Neeson, thank you, Simone. That was Liam Neeson. Thank you. But I feel like the only reason why it's really being profiled even then was because it was 600 plus. And because of the number, folks couldn't just not say anything, right?
Right.
So that I just want to make sure that we bring awareness to that, and that about this vulnerable population. So a lot of times, and like I said before, the media doesn't pick it up, so social media has. And that's another reason why I went ahead and had it on this show. I even saw where the Ricky Smiley Morning Show had turned around and picked this up and did a whole 2-hour segment the other day about this particular topic. I was like, dang, we're cued right on in.
Right.
So I do just want to make sure that we are bringing that type of awareness, to be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the things of immediate changes in environment. You're looking, and all of a sudden it's different types of folks around you, right? Just be aware. Make sure that you're locking your doors. Make sure if you carry a weapon, this is the time to go to the gun range with your and go ahead and get licensed. I really was thinking about that recently. Just not having my husband anymore and not having my protector, to go and do that and to get certified and specialized trained so I can handle a weapon and won't be afraid of it.
Make sure you get a lockbox because you got kids, you know, everybody gets the
Which
lockbox.
was my hesitation.
Yep.
Right? Which was my hesitation initially, because I have to keep that in somewhere they wouldn't even know, but at the same time train them so they aren't taken back when they, see it. They're not, it's a gun, it's a weapon. No, it's nothing to be toyed with, nothing to be played with. You're going to learn gun safety right along with mommy, right?
Or you can get a taser. I got one. Her name is Pinky.
That flashlight taser.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because the police officer in that video, he said it. He said, get a gun, right? Be licensed. Get your license to carry in whatever state you're in, if you need that or not. Be specialized trained. Get a taser. And sometimes they have those flashlight tasers. You said you had one. You said you call it what? Pinky. Shout out to Pinky. You can find those. Where can you find those at?
Cabela's, Walmart, Amazon, almost anywhere.
Right. And it looks like a flashlight, but it's a taser at the bottom part of it. And if you touch the top, you will get shot. Yeah. Pepper spray is another one. Mace. I know. Pepper spray is messy and it gets everywhere, so you better close your own eyes. Right, you better close your own eyes.
Yeah.
You just blindly spray everybody. But a lot of times you don't even have, that's why I said being hyper vigilant and aware, because you have to get to those things. You have to get to a gun. You have to get to mace.
I'm
you
so
have to
paranoid. I'll walk, if I'm not walking outside with people.
Yeah.
my hands on pinky. If it's dark and I know I'm by myself,
Mhm.
because I'm so annoyed about that,
Mhm.
I ain't got time.
See, so just nervous. So just nervous and being anxious or whatever.
Yeah, I do not have time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, and that's good. So arm yourself. Even self-defense classes, fight, kick, scream. Fight, kick, scream. A lot of times, these folks are jumping out of the vans and injecting you with something. Fight, kick, scream until you are passed out. So someone knows, because you might have minutes, seconds. You don't know what it is.
Stop, drop, and roll too.
Right. I promise you, just start acting crazy.
Yeah.
Scratching, kicking, everything. Right. Completely. I would literally lose my mind. Also, one more thing. This is another way that they're also getting folks. Is the windshield. So sometimes they'll have like these cards on the windshield, and it'll be laced. It'll be laced with something. Yeah. So a lot of times we'll turn around and have that. Okay, there we go. Maybe folks can hear us a little better. And it'll be laced with something. It'll be laced with a flyer. It'll be laced with some type of drug, and then they're literally just sitting back waiting to see who touches this thing so they can come and abduct you. A little bit of feedback. I know. There we go. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. Had to turn around and fix fix a technical issue. Make sure that we can hear it on the airwaves and on Facebook Live. Thank you. All right. So this is to heighten awareness and to make sure that everybody is vigilant and understands that this is a real issue that we need to make sure that we are continuously discussing in our communities. To continue this conversation, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor real quick, and we're going to go ahead and bring on Dr. Darlene M. Davis as well. Let me just tell you a little bit about her before we shout out our sponsors. Dr. Darlene M. Davis is an HBCU grad. She's a mentor, a parent, an advocate, and she's an aggravator of complacency. I really love that. An aggravator of complacency, right? What is normal? I love that. She's also a licensed clinical psychologist and a certified advanced alcohol and drug counselor with over 15 years of clinical mental health experience. She's offering vital individual and group clinical services to her community. Her mission is to increase awareness to psychological information and services and provide culturally adaptive, evidence-based treatment to those seeking emotional and mental health services. So we're going to go ahead and bring her on the line in just a second, right after we shout out our sponsors. First sponsor is Dope Designs by Nanny, right? You can find her at www.dopedesignsbynanny.com. You can check her out. She specializes in all custom needs. Currently having a 50% off flash sale, literally. And she does a lot of my printing for our business as well. She's really, really good. So currently having the 50% flash off sale, and you just have to use the code 24FLASH. Head over to www.dopedesignsbynanny.com. She did this shirt and a lot of the other Begin to Talk shirts that I have as well in order to shop. All right. Another one is Blood Moon Jewelry, www.bloodmoonjewelry.com. She's a teologist, has a lot of different Blood Moon jewelry, and is there for your herbal and energetic needs. Again, it's brought to you by Begin to Talk LLC. We're a mental health counseling, personal life coaching, and business consulting agency, and we are helping just normalize conversations, and that's another reason why we have this radio show, Begin to Talk. So thank you, and shout out to our sponsors. We're going to go ahead and bring on Dr. Darlene M. Davis. Let's see. Take her off of hold. All right. Darlene?
Yes.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right, let me see if I can turn this up and make sure that our viewers on our Facebook and throughout the airwaves can also hear you. Go ahead and talk for me.
Just introduce yourself, or have we started?
Okay, there we go. I'm just making sure that your voice and everybody can hear you. I see we got it.
Okay, awesome.
All right. No, thank you so much, Dr. Davis, for joining in today. And I did forget to say this, but we can find you at www.drdarleneMdavis.com. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct.
All right. Thank you so much for joining today. I really, really appreciate it. I know for everybody who is just joining, we're talking about human sex trafficking. We're talking about human trafficking and appreciation of Black bodies in general, right? I know that, and I know with Dr. Davis, you have some expertise as far as the vulnerable populations and understanding those.
Yes, that is correct. I have been heavily trained in severe mental illness, disorder of substance use, and along the lines of this conversation, one of the most important aspects of working with this population, or even understanding the concepts of the experiences of those who are human traffickers or sex trafficked, it comes along with the vulnerability, the victimization, and the traumatization, right? So we're looking at individuals, if, this can't even imagine what it means to, one, be abducted, and then two, what we are learning about what the experience is of being human trafficked, dealing with substance abuse, being physically and sexually assaulted, bullied, all control taken from you. So just the thought of even discussing that is traumatic. So
Yeah.
It's just really just so important that we're having this conversation, especially for African American women.
Yes. And understanding that abductors are not, the stereotypical character that's displayed in the media, right? Like we see the pimp, right? We see the pimp. We see, the characterized person that's on there. The stereotypical stigma that comes with human sex trafficking, and that is not it. When we were at that human sex trafficking conference, girl, I saw it was, as far as abductors are concerned, there were women and men ranging from the youngest ages to really, really old as far as abductors are concerned, right? And I used to actually counsel women anywhere from the age of 18 to 65, right, on this particular topic as well. So there is no age range, there is no discrimination when it comes to human sex trafficking. You agree?
Absolutely agree. And even thinking about going along the lines of what you said before about we have this idea, this portrayal of what this experience looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the stories you described in Target parking lot.
Yeah.
You had women sitting outside. So we're so used to the creepy van, right?
Yeah.
The Lester van, right?
Right.
We're used to that dynamic. So when we see somebody drive up in, a typical looking four-door car, we're none the wiser. Or we see a woman coming out and we're, she wants to rub oil on my hands.
Right.
And we're thinking nothing of it.
Right.
And now, young women are being recruited, older women are being recruited. I mean, that's how they get some of these kids.
Yeah.
You talk to your daughter, but don't go meet men. Well, some of these girls are recruiting for some of these sex traffickers. So, I mean, there's just, it's really just, it's an interesting experience.
Yes.
But I also like to add that, we're sitting here talking about people we don't know.
Right.
We're the abductor, the weird person in a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think an additional part of this conversation, which we probably won't have enough time to get into, but I definitely think it's worthy to put across the air, is that human trafficking can start out as a relationship. As I'm dating somebody or I'm talking to somebody, and then you start noticing your friend ain't nowhere to be found.
Yes.
Their boyfriend or friend or whatever it is super controlling.
Yes.
You start scratching your head like, something ain't right about this.
Right.
And that person starts disappearing, and they start acting real weird, and they start showing up with bruises. And so you see this whole, and all you're thinking is, maybe, they got somebody who beat on a little bit of domestic violence.
Yeah.
And what you don't know is that was the foundation for this person again, we thinking just a regular old pimp or person out. No, they done moved them from here to Atlanta, driving them to different cities, and you know, selling their bodies, and they just completely lost control. But that's the aspect of it too for us to pay attention to.
Yes.
Especially now that you know the holidays are coming up, and people may or may not show up to the holiday, you know, Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, and you're looking at your people and you're scratching your head like. Something right about that.
Right.
Be mindful of that too. Right?
Exactly. And you know what? That really brought up something else for me when I was in this past early April, when I was in Baltimore, Maryland for the Human Sex Trafficking Conference. There is a house up there, or I don't know if it's in operation now, but there was a house up there in a program called Hannah's Hope. And you know, shout out to Hannah's Hope in Baltimore, Maryland. They were doing some really, really good work there. But Hannah's Hope was about a lady, literally a 15-year-old girl. I do believe she was 15 when she just one day met a smooth talker, right? And in meeting this smooth talker, she literally, and here's the thing, Hannah, and this is the thing that's very good or very important to illustrate. Hannah came from a very normal background, very stable. Her father was a pastor, the current pastor of the church. She was doing really well in school, right? Came from not necessarily a very large family, but came from a loving community. Everybody knew who she was. This girl was being human trafficked and sent home every single night. And her parents, no one knew nor understood, you know, that this was even going on right underneath their nose, right? So even after they pulled her away from this, by the time they pulled her and got, you know, she was able to get away from her trafficker, she was able to get away from that type of situation, she still had a dual diagnosis, right? She had substance abuse that she is now dealing with because she was using that to numb her pain. So she ended up dying at 19, I think it was 19 years old. She ended up dying a couple of years after being delivered from her trafficker and she ended up dying from an overdose, right? Mm-hmm. So even after her life was stolen from her and even after she gained that back, right? Even after she was delivered from that situation, she still had all this other, all the residual trauma to deal with. Yeah. So, you know, that residual trauma is real, you know, and, you know, so shout out to Hannah's Hope, because that was a program, I believe, that would end up getting shut down by next door neighbors and not liking, you know, the fact that they were taking in folks. But honestly, that's powerful. It's the regular girl, a preacher's kid, right?
And that goes to your point of this idea of what we hold in our head about who's deserving of this experience, or who should we be paying attention to.
Yes.
What I hear you saying is that, again, there is no discernment. Like, there's no distinction. I mean, everybody gets taken. So, you know, we probably want to really be mindful of how we're looking at human traffic victims and sex traffic victims. And I should be mindful too not to call them victims, right? Because, you know, as a person who thinks about a recovery model and empowerment model, you know, it's all about how they see themselves. And she could see herself as a survivor because she did survive. And she lost her life in a way that I think is important for us to talk about too. When they are survivors, we have to be mindful and be aware of the mental health piece. There's two websites that I want to mention on here just for reference to say. There's the Office for Victims of Crime, and then there's the Polaris Project, and they go through and talk about the mental health needs of those who have been human trafficked and sex trafficked, and it goes back to that poly-victimization, that complex trauma. And I'm not using all these big words, but just to break it down something simple, it's basically abuse on top of abuse on top of abuse. Right. And so that's where you get that dual diagnosis, and that's even why I'm on here, because we often think about how we respond to people who have substance abuse issues,
Yeah.
who have addiction, and you don't know their story. And then when people say that, it's minimized. Like, really, you don't know people's stories.
You don't.
And for Hannah to lose her life from an overdose, that just tells you how it was just constantly lingering. And we know clinically that, substance abuse has a lot to do with trying to escape, trying to manage emotions, feeling overwhelmed.
Yes.
I don't think the larger community understands what that's about.
No.
And so, that dynamic of just really understanding that those survivors will continue to fight every day.
Yes.
And what that looks like from a mental health perspective, it's complex.
Yes.
And it does take it's a specialized type of approach. And, you doing that work is amazing. Alicia, it's amazing, but it's really important for us to understand, because I imagine, this is coming across the ears of some people who don't understand what it means to have survived. They see the person, they're trying to understand, it's hard to wrap your brain around the complexity of that type of trauma, and grateful for the person to be home, but still noticing that, things just ain't never been the same.
Right.
Or we're talking, the person who has survived is sitting at home trying to figure out why I just can't snap back to my old life, why I just can't be my old self, that kind of language.
Right.
I'm just, I want them to hear that it's not that simple. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Family, be kind to that person. Because this is a lot.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It's real heavy.
Yes. Yes. So the Office of Victims and Crimes, I was looking up that website just to put it in for everybody. You said www.ovc.gov. What was the other resource?
Polaris Project. And specifically why you put that in, I appreciate how they put Office for Victims of Crime. Now again, we talked about that word of victim, but the part that I like the most is survivors.
Yeah.
These people, something has happened to them.
Yes.
I remember you talking earlier, like, people choose this or people choose that.
Right. No.
Regardless if I ran away, regardless if I decided to whatever. Yeah. Like, somebody took me.
Yes.
And made me do things I didn't want to do.
Right.
I could have been shooting up the night before.
Right.
And somebody stole me and shot me, made me take drugs just the next night afterwards. That was still not my decision.
Exactly.
They perpetrated a crime against me and my body.
Yes.
We're talking about black bodies, and especially about black women, right? We know domestic violence in the black community is a thing. But here, this is an even more complex dynamic. So this is black women. Media don't necessarily give us that much attention.
Nope, not a bit.
And so we get to, fall by the wayside and slip away. But there are families out there that want to know where their daughter is, where their sister is, where their cousin is, where their niece is.
Yes.
They finally get them back, and they still don't know what to do. Like, I asked for them back, but who did I get? Like, I don't know.
And this is not the same person. This is not the daughter that I had. Yes. Very, very, very important points. Like, you so much. What was the other resource that you had? Someone posted. You said Polaris Project.
Polaris. Like polar bear, but Polaris.
Polaris Project. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we'll do the Polaris Project as well. I'll go ahead and make sure that I'm putting both of these in here. And I want to really thank you today. I want to really thank you for coming on today and bringing that clinical perspective that we need to this conversation. The Polaris Project is about National Human Trafficking Hotline, and I'm going to make sure that we put that in here as well, okay? So I really, really, really appreciate you coming on today. I really appreciate you having this robust conversation with us that is needed and that we could talk about all day long, honestly, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, because this is something that is really, really needed and that is rampant in the black community, in all communities. It doesn't even matter black, white, or the other. But this type of thing needs to be talked about. It needs to have attention drawn to it. It needs to be hyper vigilant and have folks really pay attention to this. So I really, really appreciate your expertise. And can you tell folks or give your shout out, I think, to your own business and just tell folks where to find you?
The other thing I'm really passionate about is parenting. So I have shout out to parentzonellc.com, connecting with this aspect of I want the community to consider for those survivors who make it back, who have families or maybe ended up having a child while, taking, what that looks like, how to support them, how to navigate that process of managing, psychological and emotional issues and concerns while being a parent. That's what Parent Zone LLC provides. So that's Parents, Zone, LLC.com. You can get some support there, as well as again, www.drdarlenedavis.com. Open for business, open for service, open for support. Clinically trained, as well as very, very skilled and very engaged in ensuring that that you have a culturally competent professional working with you. Because
Yes.
there is a unique experience that goes along with being Black. So I don't have to tell you guys that. You already know that. And as clinicians, which we know that a lot of these aspects of mental health are still working and needing to make space for that experience.
Yeah, and not
as a
having to,
clinician, as well as a parenting coach, I really infuse that into the type of care that I provide.
Yes.
Thank you for this time. I really appreciate it. If you can't tell by my voice, I get very passionate about my community, as well as the mental health needs of my community. So thank you for this time.
No problem. And I really, you are invited back any time you want to. We love your expertise, and I probably will be calling on you in the future as well. I really appreciate it. So you can find Dr. Darlene M. Davis at www.drdarlenemdavis.com. You can find her. You said Parent Zone is what is that again? Parent Zone.
Parent Zone LLC.
Okay. All right, parentzonellc.com. I'll make sure that I put that in the comments on the Facebook Live post as well, to make sure that as you all are a sponsor for today's show as well. So I really appreciate you, and shout out to Parent Zone. And I know that we're gonna have you all on for another type of conversation a little later. But really, thank you for coming on and having that conversation with us. It is much needed in our community. All right, thank you, Darlene. Okay, so you guys, one more shout out to our sponsors, okay? One more shout out to our sponsors. We're gonna go ahead and shout out Dope Designs by Nanny. You can find her at www.dopedesignsbynanny.com. She has a 50% off sale, and all you have to do is put 25 flash. Let me make sure. Let's make sure. You can put 24 flash. I knew I was wrong. 24 flash, and you can head on over to www.dopedesignsbynanny.com to go ahead and do that. You can also, it is brought to you by Parent Zone. We're gonna go ahead and throw Parent Zone in there as well. ParentZoneLLC.com. That is Dr. Darlene M. Davis's business that she was just telling us about. And then also, and last but not least, it's brought to you by Begin to Talk LLC. We are here for your mental health counseling, your personal life coaching, and business consulting needs. So I really believe, and we really believe, by having difficult conversations in our community, that having these difficult conversations in our community are very, very important. So I really thank you all for tuning in today and beginning to talk with us, okay? See y'all next week.